Yeah, yesterday it wasn't this low, it was maybe halfway there, and gave me a light and got all upset. I was like, okay, like maybe it's freaking out because I didn't put it in jack mode when I was lifting it up and down. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. The previous owner said that he replaced these two front shocks at like 90 something thousand. So basically, it's got probably 15K on it since the new fronts. So I don't know. The one passenger side had glue on the arm that does the level sensing where it broke at some point. So maybe it's just a sensor that's freaking out. But to me, to get this low, it has to be like draining all of its air. So I'd expect to find a broken airline or a broken boot for one of the shops. Let's scan it, see what it says. There's a Sexy Steve shout out. He finally donated me his old Asus gaming laptop from I think 1995 because this has Vista on it, and it's the only one that I've found so far that works with this cable. Oh, where is it? I thought I had it out here. This guy? No, that's a scan tool. Where's my bootleg? Somewhere around here I got a cable. It's probably one of these boxes, but I have the cable that interfaces with that ECU for my Mark IV to get to the maps and stuff. And I bricked it once, semi-bricked, trying to use like a VM with Vista. And then the only thing I could do is get Steve's trusty laptop back and reflash and ask me, there's no ECU here. Are you sure you want to flash nothing? And you're like, yeah, go ahead. And it just acts like there's an ECU and happened to bring it back to life. So yeah, thanks, Steve. Ignition on, you can hear the pump running, and it wants to jack the front up, but it doesn't, so it's probably just an air leak. I don't think a sensor would do that because it knows it's low and it gets mad. So I think it's this one, suspension electronics. It's got a lot of glare. I mean, not that anybody needs to see the damn screen. I'll scan it and just yell what it is. Here, while that scans, here's hood struts from my neighbor Brian. He's got this is his company. He's had it for a long time. So big shout out. Thanks, Brian. So they're a little bit different here, but I think they're just gonna work. So I'm gonna put these in. They look way cooler, and these are blown out when I hold my hood up. So we'll see. Nice. So not only do they look good and they fit perfect, but one holds the hood up. That one's, you know, helping a little bit. When I take that one off, we'll see if one of my neighbor's struts will hold it. Well, one alone didn't hold it up, but it's pretty solid. Like, that's not coming down on me. And then they fit nice. There's plenty of space left. So everything closes the way it should. Cool. Right over there. Thanks, Brian. Alright, there's too much glare probably to see it, but we have engine code and ABS code, HVAC code, and level control. So module 34 is the level control. I'm curious to see what these other ones are. I bet the engine one's a misfire. I had a pending before I did the plugs. Oop, there it is. Level control. Oh, 6 volts. Yeesh, you mad. So, ride height system plausible error. Ride height system plausible error. Pressure accumulator for level control. Leak detected. So it thinks there's a leak at that air tank. Ride height system plausibility. Function shutoff active. Functional limitation due to excessive temperatures. The pump's getting hot because there's a leak. So there's definitely a leak, but it seems to think that it's at the air tank, which is in the trunk. So that would be convenient. Alright, so here's he's kind of like, take this bar off. It snaps out from this way. And this splits at the top. You can just kind of wiggle it out of the way. And if you unplug stuff, I guess I could take it all the way out. This is how cars start rattling. Yeah, and these little clips, so that pedal bar goes in here, so you pop that out this way. And this is probably some kind of controller for it, I don't know. But there's air tank. I can't imagine that's leaking. It's got to be the line. It just seems like that purple line is really tight. There's just no way this has like a big crack in it or something, right? At least I wouldn't think so. Oh, it does bounce around in there. I would think it's the line on the other end that's actually leaking. That's underneath the car. No, I don't hear any air leaks. I just hear the pump run. It doesn't seem to do what I tell it to do. Like there's a, like, okay, fill front shocks. It's not running. Great. Fill pressure reservoir. Go. Oop. That time it worked. It's all to fill. It's trying to fill it. It's actually mounted under here, so I'll have to remove this guy to see it, which sucks, but I don't do it. I wonder if it's not putting anything out, like maybe the air manifold's not switching things anymore. Oh, I had the ignition and everything on long enough that the car battery's dying, so I hooked that up to the charger, hooked the laptop. Getting dark. Might just not drive in the van tomorrow, but I can get under here finally. Let's see what we see. So it should be. Oh, I didn't need to take this part off. I could have just taken that small one, but there's a little more room. Essentially, there's a pump, some stuff, and there's manifolds. So this brown line, that is from the pump to this big solenoid valve that tells it where to send stuff. When it seems like the pump runs, it goes into here. Was it this purple? It's the purple one that went up to the... Yeah, I think purple goes up to the reservoir. And when I hit vent, that was venting. And then these go to the shocks. And I don't see, like, nothing's broken right here. Like, there's gotta be a leak, there's gotta be a failure somewhere. And these are like little quick connecties. That's snapped because, you know, people have been in here a couple times, I'm sure, goofing with this stuff. Boingy, boingy, boingy. Yeah, she's nice and warm. That's for sure. I wouldn't want to run either. Got the kid cam on. His MO in the morning lately, he goes, ooh, that's all covered in dew. Is he'll just wake up and he'll turn the light on and he'll goof off for like 10 or 15 minutes before he gets antsy. So looks like this charged up pretty well. I'm hoping I'm gonna put that spray bottle. I got so much stuff out here. Here's this guy. There's my soapy water. Hoping now the battery's charged, the compressor will come on and I can look for leaks, because I'm really curious about that pressure tank leak that detected, like, because it has to be a differential where it's like, yeah, I'm making pressure but the tank's not pumping it. So I'm gonna try it with the car off first, see what it does. It's gonna get hella mad because it's lifted. I just want to see if that compressor kicks on. I don't care about music. Yeah. Oh. There we go. Spray bottle. Let's spray that block first. Something back there. no bubbles. And nothing's leaking here. There we go. Could be that the solenoid's just not sending air up here at all. That's entirely possible. Fine, I'll start it. That's what you want. Will it even start? Oh, nice. I guess without those boots off, and that's probably going to see bubbles. Unless it's just that fitting for a line somewhere. Kid's fed and is contently watching TV, so I got a few minutes before I need to pack his lunch. So I'm letting this bleed pressure out. If you remember, we were holding like 3 point something bar in the accumulator. I think this pump's just worn. That's what I'm thinking. So what should happen in an air system, it's the darkest shit out here, is that it should look at accumulator pressure, and that's what should trigger the pump coming on and off, same as a normal air compressor. And then as the system uses it, the pump just cycles to top that accumulator off. The pump shouldn't be directly filling shocks. I would imagine that's not their intention for this system. Maybe when it's filling shocks, the pump runs and the accumulator's there just for the volume. I don't know, but cracking it open, it shouldn't leak out of anything else. That's my pump rebuild technician out here today. Yeah, you helping out? Whoa. So pull this thing out. I was pretty convinced that it's the pump. We kind of confirmed that. I cracked each line underneath on the manifold, and each parts everywhere. Each one, air came out. So the shocks weren't bleeding to zero. They're just not filling up enough. And then sure enough, I get the pump apart. I'm starting to take it apart. You know, pistons here for pressure making, and then this is just packed full of desiccant beads, and they all look in pretty good shape. But if you peek down in there, right, so here's the air inlet, like this, and it's got this valve, and that's the recirc. So stuff can come past this check valve and go back, you know, recirculate into the pump. If it's like overpressurized. Well, if you look in there, that might be really hard to see, but there's like a white seat thing. Yeah, I can't see it on the camera. Maybe I can figure out how to turn the brightness up. But it looks like that seat's cracked, which means it's recircing a bunch, and the fact that it made 5 bar is amazing. So we need to figure out how to fix that seat or get another one, something, and then it should work. Hey, Dad needs that. You put the other stuff together. So looks like you can. I found a safety Torx that fits, and this thing's only finger tight. And thinking about it, I don't know if this needs to be adjusted at all. There's some kind of adjustment to it. The plug is a spring in the thing. And I would imagine this just comes out or something. That held that metal part in place. Maybe that'll just, it moves up and down, but it doesn't want to pop out. You can see there's a seal in there. Yeah, that's what it is. That's not sealing, whatever it is. Right, so this was just held in by O-rings. You just pull on it. So it may be, stop, Harrison. It may be that I didn't even need to, stop it. Stop. It's yours? It's not yours, it's mine. Hey, come on. No. Not yours. You can have it in a minute. But it looks like those holes are supposed to be on the side. It's just kind of been pounded into oblivion. So this is supposed to sit in there this way. Oh, that clicked in. Maybe it was never supposed to have come out. So maybe it fell out of place. It was just sideways and I wouldn't see it. That could be interesting. I might just put this back together and see what happens. Thinking about that, so anywho, so this part pushed on the spring essentially to preload this. I would imagine that's a pressure set point, right? Like however much pressure this pushes up with. So it's already pushing out of its seat, and what was happening is this wasn't sitting flat, so it's probably letting air come out. So I would, oh man, that's tight. I almost think we need to get it to seat and then tighten this down. It's going to make too much pressure if I do it wrong. And I think it's supposed to be able to move up and down, right? It's supposed to sit there and then click back and forth, but it was all crooked. Like, it was sitting in there funny. So maybe it just wasn't in the needle anymore. Oh, why would you stick your hand in the exhaust? I mean, that's a dumb question because it's right there. Your son, should show everybody what you, this is how your kids get cancer. Fuck, hold on. Okay, so looking at this more closely, when I was putting it in backwards, you have, yeah, eat your cookies. If I can get it back out. So I think part of me feels like this is supposed to be retained in there. It's not supposed to come in and out. And at one point it did, and it was just smashed sideways. Hopefully the pump isn't too worn from that. You can see on this side where the rings isn't in the center anymore. So it's sitting offset in there. So it's almost tempting to glue this thing in, but why would they have this assembly, right? Because this spring pushes the whole thing. So it almost is supposed to float a little bit, but I don't think it's supposed to come out, right? It's supposed to just sit in there and just move a tiny, tiny bit. So I'm going to basically have no preload on it so that it doesn't fall funny. Make sure it's sitting right, and then with that spring in place, we'll preload it again. What? I don't understand. You want a lid for your milk? Just drink all of it at once. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like, I don't know, at least that's in there straight now. It's not crooked. I should be able to crank this down, but it's going to try to push the white part up, which we don't want. So that's nice and tight. And then this has an O-ring, so this whole part's supposed to seal, allegedly. I don't know why. I guess because it bleeds out of there or something. Hell if I know. Okay. Yeah, so the challenge here is to get preload on that again without... Where's my extension? I guess I could do this and just tip it around. Well, really, yeah, it's gonna try to push. It's gonna push this thing with the O-rings out. I don't think that was in very far. It's basically even with the tip. It was like right about there. A little more, because why not? And we can look in from the other side and make sure it didn't like dislodge. It'd be hilarious if this is all it is, and then like it pops out all the time. So I just know that I have to get a pump. But what are you doing, weirdo? Keep eating cookies. That spring is wild shit. Use these shorter ones. This is all O-ring, so this stuff just needs to seat. It doesn't need to be super tight. If I look back in the top, yeah, that thing's straight now instead of crooked. Should just be able to put everything back together, slide it back in, and keep our fingers crossed. What's up? You're a mess. You are a mess. Where's my pressure switch? There it is. Same thing. This one's got a Just bring a doohickey in there too. You know, like put it in upside down so it doesn't fall out. Oh boy, Harrison, where'd you put the other screw for this one? Yeah, no, where'd you put it? There's another screw. Where is it? One screw? Where's two screws? Did you eat it? Oh, here it is. Okay, that's the outlet. He's back on. These hold it on the pump. Oh, look at this big boy. So all this does is hold that plate in so that desiccant's nice and tight. Oops, I'm upside down. So this makes it easier to see. Yeah, so this air inlet right here. Same thing, that's just got an O-ring and that giant spring.
No.
What? You have no. Hmm?
Yes.
I don't understand what you're saying. Too big.
Ew. Yuck.
What do you mean, yuck? Boogers? Well, where did you get them? They're your boogers. Boogers. No, you don't need to put a wrench on the camera. It doesn't need to be fixed. Where's the other? This one. Yeah. See, if I do this inside on the bench, he gets bored because he can't see what's going on, and then he starts sprinting towards the play in traffic. It's generally frowned upon. I don't need CPS. Yeah, we are gonna fix it. We think. Lies. All right. Hey, don't drive off those rocks. Back up. No, it's too steep for you. You can't do that yet. Come on. You gonna come help me? We're gonna put it back together and fix it. Here, get up here. Dead of the ear. I'm just gonna start it and see what it does, and then it'd be nice to look at the pressures and stuff, but it's either gonna go up or it's not. I thought I saw it move. It's coming up. Holy poops. So what that should do is should level the car out, and then it'll fill the reservoir. Look at that. I wonder how long that'll stay in place. I mean, if this levels out, it even works for a couple days, and then you go order a pump, because I don't think it's got part by itself. Oop. What was that noise? Why did it poop at me? It didn't give an error. It was just like way the hell in the air because I has no idea what's going on right now. Harrison, stop. Turn. Let's see. So maybe maybe. Let's make sure it didn't go into dumb mode. Tire change off. Is that the jack? Okay, it's picking the rear up. Just shut off and let it back down. And yeah, I picked up all 4 corners. Okay, so should probably raise it and then lower it.
No.
You hear it make fart noises? Your nose? You want a tissue? There's so many boogers in here. Alright, let's lower it. Not radio. There we go. You can hear it doing what it's supposed to do. The front came down. I thought it goes front, rear, front, rear. Oh, but we also lowered it in the comfort. Is this normal comfort height? I'm so used to seeing it slammed, I have no idea. Let's switch it to dynamic. Are you lowering? What are you doing? That looks lower than the other side. I don't think it's leaking. I think it's from me jacking it up and not having it in jacking mode. So maybe I'll grab his car seat. What time is it? 6. I don't really have time for a test drive. I think probably need to get him some dinner, get him a bath, get him to bed, tie up stuff on the bottom, and just see where it's at later this evening. It's still sitting level or not. That's crazy though. That's all it was. I bet that was letting air recirculate so it couldn't build up pressure. Let me get the scan tool out and just see what pressures are at now. Okay, so numbers aren't crazy different than, I mean, they're lower actually. It's showing system pressures 3.2 bar, accumulators 3, last measured front 7.9 both sides, and rear 4.9 both sides. So yeah, I think it's fine. I think it is. So we'll use it a little bit, and then I'll probably go through the process to lower the car. I'll make a separate video for that, and I'll just wait a day or two to see if that really fixed it. But it's pretty obvious to me that it did.